say what's up. I haven't done anything here in a while. So, I'm taking this handle from a pretty rough belt finish on it to probably about 400. See what it looks like there. This wood's got some pretty cool grain in it. I'll show it as I get it cleaned up. But I don't know what kind of wood this is. I don't remember what kind of wood it was. I kind of just picked it out and I've had it for a couple weeks, been wanting to use it. But it's got like a little bit of an orange tint to the wood, so I did an orange liner in there, but it's like 30-second thick. Yeah, what's up, Jay? Yeah, man, I'm trying to get ready for this Belleville show. I got this one to finish and one more to finish. This one right here, it's a big old brisket slicer. It got some really pretty it's like elderberry, I believe, or something like that. I did some Tiffany blue liners, some Tiffany blue micarta pins, and let's see if I can take this off without cutting myself. But I got it hand sanded up. The lighting in here is not good. If I put the camera over there, the table shakes because it's crap. So, but yeah, this one I'll be finishing tomorrow. I got a bunch of stuff ready. I did a video of me kind of like looking around. I finished. Here. I'll pop the camera over here where you can actually see what I'm doing. I got a new shot. But this one is this one I finished up today. I really like this one. Same basic concept as this knife, different wood, you know, but this one is 8670. I can't remember if this is desert ironwood or cocobolo. I crap with wood. I'm like, oh, it's pretty, and I buy it. But I did some blue liners in there. But yeah, that thing, I really like that one. I'm pretty much bald on my arms now because I've been doing this for, you know, on all my knives, like testing them to get them, make sure that they're where I want them to be. But I don't know, I really like that one. I have another one that's roughly this same blade, different handle. That's a San Mai build that's coming with me to the show. So, but yeah, doing some hand sanding on this one. I'm gonna get it to. I think I'm gonna stop at 320 on this one because the the wood that it is, I don't know what it is, but it's at 120 now, and when I wipe it with my hand, it looks really clean. So I'm going to take it up to about 320. I'm either gonna linseed it and then buff it, depending on how it looks, because it's super hard wood. It was awful on the belt. So, which is usually a good indicator that you can stop around 400 and it look really, if a clean 400, you can't have like 220 scratches in your 400 finish, because that doesn't count, that's a 220 finish. Anyways, what you up to? It's pretty much there. need one of those hand sanding devices that you can turn but pour, so I don't have one because they're expensive. And I've been meaning to make one, but since the move, I don't have any more junk, so I can't just throw stuff together with crap I got laying around because I don't have any junk anymore, which I never thought I'd say, like, having no junk is a bad thing, because you can't make anything without junk, without random stuff laying around, because then you end up having to go buy stuff, and that costs money, and you might as well just buy what you're going to make at that point. So anybody got any junk in the Austin, Texas area, let me know. So, I'm going to go ahead and go to 320. Is that 3? Yeah, 320 on this one, and see what it looks like. Oh man, that sucks. Hate to hear that. It's never a good thing. Jay, you're in Alabama, right? You're an Alabama man. You're not too far from. You're out. I think it's Alabama. I can't remember where you're from. I know we talked about it one day. I got the memory of a bad hunting dog. Oh, that's right. You're in Bristol, Florida. Yeah, I miss Florida every single day, man. Like, I love it here in Texas, but at the same time, like, I lived out in the middle of the woods, and it was peaceful, and it was quiet, and there was trees. Texas ain't no trees. There's no grass. Everything here is brown and dead, and seems like everything in Texas is, well, I say Texas, where I'm at in Texas is nothing but subdivisions and people. They got it worse than we got with the, people flooding from other parts of the country to there, and they got it worse than Florida for sure. And I never thought I'd ever have to say that, because Florida, we get the old people come there to retire and make everything expensive for the people that actually live there. Which is a big reason why we ended up having to come here for work and cheaper living and all that. And it just, the move made more sense financially, is what it basically boiled down to. Oh, nice. Yeah, I was up, I don't know if you're familiar with like the Suwannee County area. I was real close to the river out there, pretty much Brantford on the river in Suwannee. Probably as the crow flies, my old house is about 3/4 of a mile from the Suwannee River, and from there in a boat about a 30-minute ride to the Santa Fe. So it was nice out there. We're most likely going to end up back in Florida. So yeah, what you working on right now, Jay? Yeah, I saw that, the bear hunting season. I seen everybody freaking out about it and all that, and I seen where Florida Wildlife had released them panther cubs or whatever, and I made some people mad what I said about it, but if you've lived in Florida for any kind of time and ever dealt with Florida wildlife, you'll probably feel the same way. The only reason they released them things where they released them was because they're chipped, and some farmer's probably gonna have to shoot him after they kill his cattle or worse, and then they're gonna fine him, ridiculous amount of money and da 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 and all that. And I'm not a fan of Florida wildlife. I've seen them do crap. I have their purpose, but as a whole, they ain't never done anything good for me. I've seen them go out and spray for mosquitoes and weeds and stuff and kill a lake full of fish, but if you catch a redfish that's about that much too long, you can probably have to sell your house to pay for it. But they can kill a lake full of fish, and that's all good. But you better not catch one that's, out of there, so, what they say you can and can't keep. It just never made sense to me. So I ain't a fan of government agencies and stuff like that stepping and sticking their nose in what really shouldn't be their business, especially when it comes to like hunting and fishing. It'd be different if they were catching poachers, going out and taking 10,000 fish out of a lake or whatever, but some old dude in his John boat that's got one too many fish in his cooler, they're gonna take his boat and take his truck and fine him thousands of dollars. Like, I can't get behind that. I'll never be a fan of that. Yeah, yeah, they talking about the cats. Yeah, they always seem to release them relatively close to where there's houses and agriculture land and stuff like that. They don't ever take them out into the national forest where nobody lives, or even better yet, they don't ever tell people that come there they can't build another subdivision because this is a wildlife refuge area and da 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 da. It's always our fault, People that live out in the country, you have to coexist with these animals, or you have to coexist with this, or I don't know. It just never made sense to me that their decision-making process and that crap. If they want the animals to have habitat and stop turning our farmlands into 400 acres, 500 acres or more of solar panels or, whatever. They're building RV parks. Where I lived at, there was probably, I guarantee you, in a year and a half, they probably built 40 RV parks, and them things stayed full year round. Even during the hurricanes, they stayed full. That's another topic. Anyways, yeah, so I'm getting ready for the Belleville show, which is here they call it's the Belleville show, but it's the Texas Select Custom Cutlery event. And I've always wanted to go to this show because there's no production stock, like bench made and case and stuff like that. It's always at your big shows. They're not gonna be there. It's gonna be a bunch of dudes like me that make stuff, and it's a pretty cool show. There's gonna be material guys there that do like handle material and steel vendors, and Texas Knife Steel is gonna be there. Mike, good guy, runs it. He's gonna be there. He's in Oklahoma right now, so hopefully I can go there and sell a bunch of knives so I can afford to buy a bunch of stuff to make knives. Makes no sense. Spend a whole bunch of money to make these knives so I can sell them so I can afford to make more knives. Yeah. So there's your business model of the year right there, boys. But no, I mean, I love doing this. Is really why I do it. I don't make any money off of doing it. I make a little bit of money here and there, but I don't have a brand new Denali parked in my driveway, Yeah, I keep having to do that to read your comments because I got it set up on my high-tech filming apparatus, which is a 2x4 with some nails and screws put in it at different angles with tape wrapped around them. High speed, low drag, boys. High speed, low drag. But yeah, so the Belleville show though, I've always wanted to do it just because it's more centered around actual makers instead of some huge made in China tactical crap company that pops up every year or whatever, and goes to these shows and have a huge booth and sells thousands of knives, and it ain't nothing special about them. They cost just as much as a handmade knife, like uh, Benchmade. I have two Benchmade. I have a out the front assisted open Benchmade, and I've got the assisted open folder Benchmade, and I paid money for them, so I'm gonna just say it, they're crap. I took my Sod Buster Junior over them Benchmades. They're terrible. They hold an edge like crap. They're just terrible knives, and one of them was like $375. And I'll tell you what, you couldn't give me one. I I don't think they're worth the hype. If I was going to spend $300-400 on a production style knife, I would get with Josh Smith and Montana Knife Company, because the man that owns that company knows a thing or two about making knives, and he's putting his heart and soul into building this company, and I got a big respect for that. I'm not really a production knife guy, but yeah, if I was going to spend $400 on a pocket knife or an everyday carry production knife, that's where I would spend my money. I don't know. I just don't see the hype behind some of these high-end production, because once you get into like the $300-400 range for a production knife, that there's 1,000 of them out there, you're talking about, now you're really close to handmade price range. And if I'm going to spend that much money, I would rather buy a knife from somebody that, if something like, with me, I don't know about other people, if you tear one of my knives up, I want you to get with me and I want it back. Like, I don't care how you did it. If you're like trying to throw it into a brick to see if the tip will stay there, then that's your business. But like, if you're using it for its intended, like you're cleaning an animal or you're using a kitchen knife or whatever, and it won't hold an edge, or the tip breaks off of it, or it's just crap, like, I want it back. I'm gonna fix it, because I put a lot of time and effort into it, and if there's something wrong with it, and sometimes heat treats don't go great, and there's really not a good way to torture test it before I sell it, because if I tear it up, then I can't sell it. But stuff like that. So I would much rather give my money to somebody like that than the everyday bait and China tactical. Yeah. I've got a Sod Buster Junior that I've been carrying 4 years now. About 4 years now, and I think I've actually had to sharpen it, like put it on a sharpener twice. And I'm talking, I toted this thing, and I did everything from working on cars, cutting stuff I wasn't supposed to be cutting, stripping wires, fishing with it, using it to cut bait, and to camping. I'm talking about, I put this thing through the ringer, and I've only actually had to put an edge on it twice. And when I say put an edge on it, I put it on a slack belt on the Ameribraid on like a 600 grit belt, and just kind of pull a burr and just strop it. But other than that, that thing's pretty good bang for your buck. I think I paid like $60 for it. It was in Missouri. I bought it. I love that thing. I try not to carry it anymore because, toot my own horn, I have my own slip joints now. With my name on them, so and I like the knife, so I put it away so I won't lose it. Anyways, try to get this thing cleaned up. I'd like to run this live for about 30 minutes. We're about 20 minutes right now. I'd like to get this thing at least oiled and buffed or whatever. I've been meaning to do a video on how I sharpen my knives. So I had somebody, I can't remember the guy's name, I talk to him all the time on the channel, I'm terrible with names. He was asking me about how I do a belt sharpen, and it's really simple. And we got time. I ain't gonna drag this thing out in an hour long, but here in about 10 minutes after I kind of get this one cleaned up, I'm gonna probably do that. Earlier, so if you know me in person, you'll know that I'm blind. Like, I can't see nothing. I can read like microscopic little itty bitty text, but if it's more than 10 feet away, I can tell you what color it is. That's about it. Um, no, I'm not taking any folders to the show. I did about 10 of them after. Well, I say I did about. I've probably done about 70 of them, but I did about 10 of them that I felt comfortable putting them out there in the world and selling them and stuff like that. Um, and the thing with the folders, though, I'm not to a point with them that I can. So if you called me and said, "Hey, I want this shape," da 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 da, I don't know if I could do it exactly like that. Like if you told me I want a chef knife to these dimensions, I could do it, no problem. But like the folders, I haven't really done enough of them to be able to, you know, absolutely nail it. I've made a couple here and there, and then every like other one that really good, that'll be one that I'll put out. But um, this knife and this knife right here are the last two that I've got started for the show. And I was thinking here, I've got about a week and a half, so I think I'm probably gonna try. I might like make two and kind of see how they come out and take them to the show. But if I did that, it would mainly be to put it in the hands of some people that actually know what they're talking about, and not really give me pointers because I can see what went wrong with them and stuff like that, but mainly just to kind of ask questions, I guess. And it's easier to ask questions when I can go, "Hey, look, this is doing this. How do I fix that?" So if I did, that would probably be what I would do with them, unless somebody absolutely wanted one. I probably wouldn't be able to sell any folders there because of the level of talent that's going to be at this show. There's several master smiths, several really, really good makers from the Texas Knife Making Guild, stuff like that. So this one is I'm calling it a brisket slicer. I don't really have a good lighting situation here. Let me see if I can put you over there without knocking my phone on this thing. Without doing that. Yeah. So this right here is, I'm calling it a brisket slicer. It's a really thin, uh, I'll never find it. It has about an 8-inch cutting edge. Um, Overall length I think is like 13 and a quarter or something like that. But it's got some elderberry. I think it's dyed and stabilized elderberry. Yeah. My phone looks like it's been blown up, and like the front and the back of my phone is shattered, and I drop this thing all the time. And I don't use a case because I don't like huge phones. Like if it was up to me, I would go back to a Nextel. I hate huge phones and bulky crap in my pocket. Oh, you're gonna be there? Oh yeah. I haven't actually talked to anybody other than the people that are presenting that are gonna go to the Belleville show. There's a few people here and there that I've talked to that have gone to the show, but I don't really know anybody like offhand that's actually got plans on going to the show. Oh, cool. So I'm in Round Rock, so I'm about an hour and 45 from Belleville. I'm gonna be most likely getting an Airbnb out there somewhere and spending the weekend and hanging out. I'll be there Friday afternoon. I'm probably gonna leave here Friday morning at about 9, so I'll probably get there about 11. Gonna get my stuff set up and kind of, I want to get there a little bit early because this is actually my first ever show presenting. So kind of talk to some people. There's a couple people there that I'm gonna hang out with and kind of get some pointers and get my stuff set up and kind of be the new kid on the block. So, but yeah, so yeah. But yeah, this wood, it's really hard, and it hand sands really easy, but it's I shaped it on a 60 grit belt. Oh yeah. Yeah, I don't know anything about Texas other than it's always windy here. Everybody keeps telling me, oh, I live so and so, da 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 da, or over there by da da da. I'm like, I have no idea where that's at. I don't know anything about. I've lived in Florida my entire life, and I don't know anything. I've been to Texas before, but I've never lived here, so I don't really know. Yeah, everybody keeps telling me about the heat. I was here last year during the summer, and the heat here, if you think it's hot and humid in Texas, you better don't ever go to Florida, because I'm telling you, we come here last summer because of the 7 hurricanes that went right through my property. And me and my wife sat out on the back porch at a friend of mine's house and was talking about how awesome the weather was. And they were looking at us like we needed to be taking medication and weren't allowed to have a driver's license. They were like, y'all are crazy. I'm gonna tell you right now, the Florida heat and humidity, it's awful. Like, y'all make jokes about the whole take a shower, put your clothes on, don't dry off and go outside thing or whatever. You have no idea. Florida is literally a sandbar sticking out to the middle of the ocean. Like, it is awful in the summertime. It rains every day, which makes the humidity worse. Like, I mean, it is hot here, and the humidity is, I ain't really seen it this year yet or whatever, but it's, everybody that keeps telling me to wait till the summer and this and that and this and that, I've seen it. I was here last year when it was like 115. Yeah, Houston's over a little bit towards the coast. Yeah, we don't get the 120 degree, temperature, but you don't see a day in Florida that it's under 97% humidity. Like, I know that sounds like I'm being, exaggerating or whatever, but I'm serious. In the last winter, it was real cold there. It actually snowed at my house, little flurries or whatever. It was like 26 degrees and it was like 97% humidity. And it was terrible. Everything was frozen. Everything had ice on it. Everything you touched. So I was talking about the humidity here with a friend of mine, and I had set my cup down. I'm a avid sweet tea drinker. And I set my cup down, and you can see there's nothing. And I said, man, if you do that at where I lived at in Florida, you'd have to get a towel to clean. There'd be water running off of the table from the humidity on that thing. And I guess he did. I don't know. People don't realize how it's almost like it's raining, but the air is just got the water in it that you can't see, because you will be from walking from your front door to go check the mailbox. Say it's 100 feet. When you get back, you will actually have to take your shirt off because you will be soaking wet. So if it's anything like that, then I'll be right at home, because I miss it, because it is cold. It is cold here. Like, at night here, it gets down to, I think last night it was like, I want to say it was like 61 or something like that or whatever last night. I walked outside as soon as the sun went down. I walked outside and was freaking out. I was like, what the hell? Because it was warm that day. The sun was out. It was a nice warm day. It wasn't too hot, kind of breezy. It was nice, And as soon as that sun went down, man, it was like 25-degree difference. Yeah, walking in a car. Pretty much, yeah. I think, my buddy that lives here, he looks at me like I'm crazy all the time, because I tell him I can't wait for the summertime. I'm ready for the heat, because I'm used to it. It's, I'm not built for the cold. I'm not built for you know, we get cold at night in Florida, but if the sun comes out during the day, it'll warm up 75, 80 degrees. It could be 22 degrees at night, but if the sun comes out, it'll be high 70s that day. So we don't get cold during the day. Here, a couple weeks back, man, it was like 41 degrees during the day, bright and sunny, and I was freaking out, man. They were making fun of me. You know how the iguanas fall out of the trees in South Florida? And he was telling me, he's like, that's you right there. He's like, I'm telling you, I'm waiting on you to fall over because I'm over there, hoodie, Carhartt, jeans, hat, beanie, everything. I'm bundled up, and he's standing there in t-shirt, shorts. And I'm over there like shaking, and he's making fun of me, laughing at me. He's like, you cannot be that cold. And I was like, man, it don't get this cold in Florida. If it stays in the 20s for more than 48 hours in Florida, I guarantee you there'd be people packing their houses up and moving because we ain't built for that. So, anyways, I'll say what's up. Yeah, Brian, swing by I'll be at booth P3. I'll be outside, so come hang out, say what's up. I went to Blade Show, Texas, and I'd never been to Blade Show, Texas, and I've been to Blade Show Atlanta a few times and stuff like that, and a couple of the people that were there, I don't know if you guys are familiar with Mr. Steve Schwarzer. He's the Godfather, man. His stuff is just ridiculous, and AVS Mastersmith, just all around, he's a good dude, man. He's one of them guys that's just a box of knowledge, and he's more than happy to share and talk to you and hang out. And I walked up to his table, and he was like, what are you doing in Texas? And I was like, we moved here. And he's like, oh man, you got to go back to Florida. And I was like, yeah. Yeah, Fort Worth was cool, man. I'd never been to Blade Show, Texas, but I'll tell you this, if you've been to Blade Show in Atlanta, the Dallas Fort Worth show is, I was told it was like half the size of the Atlanta show, but it ain't even that. Like, it's probably about a quarter of the size of the Atlanta show. There wasn't as much like handle material, because that's really the only reason I go to the Blade shows, to talk to other people and to buy material and shop for materials and stuff like that. Which here, you know, we got Mike from Texas Knife Steel, who's probably one of the best dudes that I've come across as far as the knife making community, with you know, getting your materials, because I was ordering my stuff from Pop's Knife Supply, and it was like 6 hours away from my house, and it would cost me, if I ordered $300 worth of steel, the shipping was $130, so it was killing me. So with being here, I've essentially cut my steel cost in half because of being in close proximity. I can just go there and get my steel, so that's pretty awesome. But yeah, the Fort Worth show is really awesome show to go to. There's a lot of really good makers there, but they don't have, it's just smaller than the Atlanta show. The Atlanta show is like the biggest one in the world or whatever, and it really is. That show, it's 3 days. It's Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and I've done it twice now, and you can't do, like, if you walked the whole show and stopped and looked at every booth and talked to everybody for 2 or 3 minutes, maybe 5, 6 minutes, you couldn't do it in 3 days. So it's one of those, like, it's almost like when you go to like Disney or something. Like, you got to have a map and you got to pick out what you want to go and see. If not, you just kind of got to breeze through everything and look at what catches your eye. Because I think it was like, I think they said not including the big vendor booths like Pop's Knife Supply and Texas Knife Steel and the Benchmade and all the, you know, the huge booths and stuff like that. Just tables, there was like 750 or 650 or 750 tables. Just of, you know, guys selling handle material and dudes, you know, with their knives on the table and stuff like that. Like, it was insane. And then on top of that, you have the entire big room that's full of all these huge booths and, you know, even if you're not a knife maker, the blade shows, they put on a amazing show. If you're a collector, that's the best place to go. Like, I mean, the average person is not going to be, ever in a position to be able to purchase a $5,000-6,000, ridiculously made buoy from like Kyle Royer or something like that. But at Blade Show, you can go up there and shake the man's hand, and he'd be more than happy to let you hold it and tell you all about the process of it and stuff like that. And it's just really, really cool for knife people. If you're into knives and you like knives, I recommend it. The Fort Worth show. I've never been to the Blade Show West at Utah, I believe. I've never been there, but I've done Atlanta and I've done the Dallas Fort Worth show, and they were well worth it. It's not expensive to get in. I think it's like $25 for a ticket for the day or whatever. They got weekend passes and all that stuff too. So they got all kind of stuff. They do like forging, they do competition, they do judging and stuff like that. They got the Balisong, the little butterfly knives or whatever. They do competitions with those, and you'll see there'll be a hallway with 10,000 people lined up down that thing playing with them. So they could have Balisong, I think is what they're called. I call them butterfly knives because that's what they were to me growing up. But anyways, I appreciate y'all for coming out and listening to me ramble while you're sitting in the garage, so I don't get here talking to myself. So I got a couple more scratches on here in some spots, but I'm gonna hit this thing with the linseed oil real quick. I think I might buff it, because if I buff it, then I'll be able to see the scratches. And I know as soon as I'm sitting tabling this thing, I'll be able to see all the scratches I missed. And I critique my work worse than anybody ever has. So if I see terrible spots in it or something that I don't know, I'm probably gonna hide it. But yeah, let me grab my little, check this high-tech buffer I got out. Now these things right here, super buffer, all right. I mean, one of a kind, $1 million piece of equipment right there. I'm just going to give it a once over so I can look for scratches. See one. Hey, I mean, I had a big table buffer, but those things scared the crap out of me because they like to grab a hold of stuff and throw it. And usually the stuff that it grabs a hold to and throws is a knife. One, nobody wants to throw a knife across the shop. And two, I've usually, when I get to the point of hitting it with the buffer, I've put a considerable amount of time into it, and I really don't want to bounce it off the concrete. So I went to doing that right there, and it works. I mean, you're not going to get no ridiculously crazy, you're going to have to hand sand and clean it up. But as far as for, just putting a good buff to it where you can see it, it works. It works for sure. Anyways, let's get this thing off. I'm gonna hold my phone this time. I don't think old girl's got very many drops off the concrete left in her. Sit you up here and wipe all the dust off of it. I don't know. I honestly don't know what kind of wood this is. I'm terrible with wood. I did the orange liner in it because when I cut it, it threw the orange dust everywhere, but it might be mesquite. I can't remember. I have it somewhere in a message from the guy I get my wood from. Oh, see, I found some scratches. But yeah, it ain't bad. That's at a 320 finish. I mean, I usually hit it with that buffer. I very rarely even put compound on it. Every now and then I'll clean it off and get like the dust and stuff out of it or whatever, and that's really all it does, is it gets all the dust from sanding out of the wood. But so I got that one. I finished this one today. Show this one again for the other people. It was me and Jay in here talking for the first 20-30 minutes. So we go back over some stuff. This one right here I finished up. It's sharp, ready to go. This is either desert ironwood or cocobolo. I think it's desert ironwood because it's got that, you know, crazy swirl that desert ironwood gets. It almost looks like wood that was wet, and it's kind of got that like watered spot on it or whatever. That the pearl and that stuff is just ridiculous. But on a side note, for people that have been wanting to get one of my knives, if I don't do well at this show, I have about 20 that'll be that'll be going on sale, because I'm gonna have to sell them to get rid of all these, because I've been making these and I haven't posted very many of them, you know, for the show. So here, let me get my box. I want to show you. So I'll be taking, I did a little short video on them. Yeah, I think it is cocobolo. I think you might be right. I think I'd already used the desert ironwood piece that I got, because I remember doing it and it destroyed like 4 of my belts because I didn't know that it was desert ironwood. If you've ever worked with desert ironwood, you know that it is not named that because it's soft and a forgiving material. Desert ironwood, I'm pretty sure, is related to Kevlar. So here's a bottle opener I did. It's got dice on it and stuff. Got a cool little hook. I dig stuff like this, man. Like, that's just, to me, that's cool. Like, you pick something up like that, that's a conversation. Oh, cool. You by chance have a bunch of exotic hardwood scraps that you want to get rid of? We might be able to work something out. Do you like knives? So here is, oh, this is one I did on the channel a while back. That's a AR400 plate steel and a piece of 80 CRV2 for the core, and then some resin handle scales that I did a frame construction on. Piece of brass. That's a pretty cool little knife. Here is a kukri that I did not too terribly long ago. It's got liners and stuff in it. This one is also 80 CRV2. I forged this one out with a friend of mine. We were just messing around in the shop one day, and I got to forging on it, and I don't remember if I messed the tip up on. I did something, and it started to be shaped like a kukri, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna try it. And I shot for it, and it worked out. The knife came out cool. I've got this chef knife that I'm gonna be doing. This is, I believe it's called Bacote wood. Is that what that is? It's got smudges all over it. This thing is ridiculously sharp. Really love doing chef knives. That's my favorite knife to make. I love doing chef knives. When I first started out making knives, my plan was, and I didn't know any better because I'd never made a knife in my life, I wanted to make folding knives. I wanted to make pocket knives, because my mindset was like, you know, everybody totes a pocket knife, you know. So I wanted to make pocket knives, and I found out real quick that there's a reason why most knife makers do fixed blades. This is that other harpoon. Or is that harpoon or whatever? This is sand mine. This is a 15 and 20 with an 8670 um, cutting edge on that one. And this is canary wood. I remember that one. So canary wood on that one came out pretty good. It's got like it almost looks dirty in the video and stuff, and I've taken pictures of it and stuff, and I really can't get a good picture of it because it looks like it's got a big smudge across it, but there's like almost like a chocolate kind of color in one of the layers of that canary wood I've never seen before. It's got like a little red line and stuff in it. This is some butterscotch vintage paper micarta from Westinghouse with a smudge on it. These little knives right here, I've got some leather work being done from Saddle Mountain Leather. They will be here Monday, and I'm beyond excited. He sent me some pictures of them, and man, I like freaked out. I loved it. But this stuff right here, this butterscotch paper micarta, that stuff is gorgeous. I did a folder with stuff. That sold me some scales. Website that sold supplies. Okay, sweet. Yeah, Jay always keeps me on my toes. He always sends me all kind of wild crap that he finds, and he's like, "Check this out," and I'm like, "Poof!" Like, you got too much faith in me. Here's another piece of that canary wood. See, it has that little red kind of. It almost looks like cherry, but it's canary wood. But it's got that little line in it. I've got, I think, 3 of these total. Yeah, I got 3 of them. One of them is coming back with the leather. I had him make it to that knife, and then I made these knives to that knife. This is one of my new shapes. This is the like the nest book shape or whatever, and these things right here, as far as for like cleaning game and beard and stuff like that, that is a really, really cool shape. Really good shape to use. I did this one, and this is, I can't remember the name of the wood. I just saw it earlier because I asked somebody about it. This is one I did when I was still in Florida, and I finished it here. This is a file that a friend of mine came over. He had a file that was, I think it was probably about that wide, but it was a super long file. He had broke it or whatever, and we decided to make some knives out of it. And then this is some spalted pecan I got from Mr. Terry Dunn, the one and only. Phenomenal guy. Makes some of the prettiest handle material you'll ever see in the knife making world. Get a lot of stuff from him. This is one I also finished in Florida. This is some cast resin, like a gold kind of swirl to it. Brass pins, a little petty knife. Pretty cool little knife. I did some like facets on that one. I don't know if you can see it. That was pretty cool. This one's funny too because it looks like it's got smudges and stuff all in it too, but it's that gold swirl that was through the white. Working with white handle material is hard. It's super hard to keep clean. Every little scratch and stuff like that gets dirt in it. Yeah, everybody in Texas keeps telling me it's not pecan, it's pecan, but I ain't ever drank a con of Coke, so it's pecan. And I'd say that too. I'm Southern. Texas isn't Southern. Texas is its own thing. Texas is Texas. It doesn't. I wouldn't say it's Southwest or Mid-South or Southern. Texas is its own thing. You have your own language, all that. It's definitely pecan. This is, I think, what do you think? This is either Desert Ironwood or Cocobolo again. I think this is Cocobolo. It might be Desert Ironwood. I have no idea. I'm not good with wood names. Unless I make it a point to remember. I usually forget. I know everybody keeps making fun of me the way I talk here. I've had to city up my language a little bit here because I was at the HEB here. It's like a grocery store for the non-Texan folk. It's just like a Winn-Dixie or something if you're in Florida, or you know. It's more of like a Sam's Club slash Winn-Dixie slash. They got pretty much any. HEB's awesome. It's my favorite thing about Texas so far. But I had said something to this girl, and I was looking for something because the store is huge, and I'm from a little tiny itty bitty town that has got, you know, I have a post office, a gas station, and a feed store, and a little antique store that's open like once a week, and that's it. That's the whole town, and our grocery store is, you know, tiny itty bitty little store, and I'd asked the lady for something. I was like, I'm looking for like sour cream or something. I can't remember what it was, and she just smiled at me. And at first I was like, you know, maybe she doesn't speak English, you know, whatever, because she didn't even say anything. She just smiled at me and was like, okay, crazy man. And I was like, hey, I'm looking for whatever, da, da, da. And she just stood there like looking at me. And then I turn around and walk off, and I hear her talking to somebody else. And I was like, you know, and I went back and I was like, ma'am, I asked you to da da da, and I had a question. I'm lost in this store. Can you help me? And she's like, I have no idea what you're saying to me. I was like, oh God. So I was like, I need sour cream, you know. It was funny. It was when I realized that I was no longer where I came from. But yeah, so that's that. I'm to the point now where I can sharpen this knife. I'll see how the lighting is over there, and I'll kind of explain how I do it. But basically what I do is when I grind my knives before hand sanding, I take my edge down to, it ain't sharp, but it'll cut you, if that makes sense. It's thin. I'd say if I knew where my high-tech Harbor Freight caliper were, I would tell you how thick. There it is. Got dust all over them. That's how long I've used these. So it is behind the edge at the heel is 1/1000th. Behind the edge at the tip is 1/1000th. Right? 1/1000th, 0.01. That's 1/1000th, right? Yeah, right? Come on now, you done made fun of me because I said pecan, but you can't hit me with that one. I can't. It's 1/1000th. 0.01 is 1/1000th of it. Anyway, behind the edge is 0.01 of an inch. Yeah, 100th. No. Yeah, whatever. So from there, and this is not the same with my kitchen knives. My kitchen knives, yeah, 100th. With my kitchen knives, I take them essentially too sharp on the build. I take it to 0, as close to 0 as I can get. So with like knives that are going to have a little bit more durable of an edge, that's where I bring the edge to, and then I will do a slack. So what I'll do from here is I'll go on the belt, and I'll go on the platen edge up, and I'll knock that corner off of that flat. I'll just knock it off at a pretty aggressive angle. And then from there, I will put it on the slack belt edge towards me and pull a burr all the way. And let that belt kind of just pull the burr. And once I see the burr nice and neat on both sides as I come back and forth, or I'm sorry, I do this on a 120 grit used up old 120 grit belt. From there, I'll go to a 600 grit J-Flex, real thin, you know, lightweight belt. I'm gonna do this, I'm just kind of explaining it so I can just do it without having to explain it just in case it's dark over there. And then I'll do it again and pull an even finer burr, and all this is on the slack belt, so I'm getting that nice convex edge that's not gonna be too brittle. And then once I'm pulling it with a 600 grit and I'm pulling a nice burr all the way to the tip on both sides of the knife, I do it a couple times. And while doing this too, it also cleans up the edge. From there, from the 600, once it's pulling a burr all the way through, I used to strop them, but then I got tired of taking my belt off and stuff, and I left my big piece of leather in Florida. I'll just take it on the edge of the table and really no pressure and just kind of do that, and it pulls the burr off of it. And then from there, I have a belt that I put buffing compound on, and it's basically just a Scotch-Brite belt, like a really, really fine Scotch-Brite belt. And I've got it covered in buffing compound, and I will buff the edge until it starts to pull just the microscopic burr. And usually from there, it's what I like to call, don't try to catch it if you drop it sharp. You know, it'll hurt you. So, and that seems to hold up quite well with this, because I used to do it a little bit thicker, and that edge obviously held longer, but I wasn't getting as good of a pass-through geometry with my cuts. It kind of felt like a thick edge, so I started doing it thinner, tested a few knives on it. I actually, on this one, this is one of the first ones I did where I took it down to thinner than I normally would have at the very edge of it for this kind of knife. And then all right. But from there, I used this knife quite a bit, and then it seemed to hold up just as good as the other one, but it cut better, so that's what I moved to doing. But anyways, we're gonna go over to the grinder, fire that thing up, put my 120 belt on, establish my edge, pull the burr, go to 600, pull the burr, clean off the burr, buff it. So, that makes sense. Gotta figure out how I'm gonna film over here. I really should invest in some sort of tripod and camera. So, stick there. That's gonna fall. And I will, so this is that belt. It's just a Scotch-Brite with some buffing compound on it, but I got an old 120, my Scotch-Brite here, and then here's a 600 grit J-Flex. So I got an old 120, a 600 grit, really lightweight J-Flex belt, and a buffing belt. And that's how I pull my edge to where I want it to be. But then again, it always, once your edge geometry is established, which will be way, way before this point, that's how I get it. And then we'll do some cut tests with it. So I got some paper that's not wet because there's no humidity in Texas. So you'll see how long this takes. So this knife is, like I said, it will cut you, but it's not sharp. So turn this thing on. Starting to pull a burr. I'm doing little to no pressure. to show you this on camera, but just a little bit of a hair all the way down the edge, and I'm kind of just knocking back and forth. Once I do that a few times, I know that I'm pulling a nice centered, belt. Now I'll go to a 600, which is basically just going to polish that edge that we just established. At this point, I'm not removing material. I'm just refining, cleaning up that edge. Because right now at a microscopic level, your edge looks like this. You got that toothy grain edge, and I want to just start bringing it in and getting tighter and tighter and tighter, which will make it stronger and sharper. Because you won't be able to just, overuse, knock these teeth off. You'll have a little bit of a, back end. Anyways, same thing. Usually on the higher grit belts, I just run it until my edge is clean. I don't, where you basically can't see the scratches from the 120. So I really don't want to take too much material off of it, because then you'll grind the edge that you just put on it. You'll round it off. So now on the buffing wheel, if you could, I don't know if you could, you definitely can't see it, but you'll be able to see the burr that I've been playing back and forth on the buffing wheel. It'll pull a pretty serious burr. I'm going to try to, I will take it off right here, but I'm going to leave it to see, just in case. There's that. Now, I usually test it. And the paper test, for people that don't know, is basically, I want to make sure that my edge is going to cut all the way to the tip with no hang-ups and no drags. It's got a little spot right there in the center, I think, or it could be just this paper. Yeah. It's definitely sharp. All right, so I'm gonna go back over here where you can actually see what I'm doing. So basically, once you get to this point, the paper test is just an easy way for you to cut something, and if it catches, you know that your edge is either still got a burr on it or needs to be stropped, or, so it looks like it's clean. So let me find a piece of paper. Let's see if I can. All right, so basically, you want to kind of come in and start your cut. All right, so it's cutting all the way to the tip, nice and neat. There's no snags, no drags, no nothing. So that's good. It is catching. I feel like it is catching. So anyways, that's what the paper test is for. And then I'll probably go back over to like the 600 and re-pull another burr, buff it again, check it again, and if I still can't get it, I'll go back to the 120. I probably just need to buff it a little bit more and clean that edge up, but it's at this point it's a serviceable edge. You could definitely use it. I don't know, it's hard to tell. It doesn't feel, I don't feel it catching. But at the same time, I feel like it should cut better. So, anywho's, I'm gonna hop off here. I appreciate y'all for coming to hang out. If you're not subscribed, subscribe. If you're coming to the Texas Select Show in Belleville, I'll be at table P3. Come by, say what's up. After the show, which is April, I want to say 5th and 6th. It's the first weekend of April. I will have everything that I don't sell at that show for sale on the Facebook page, Little River Forge. It's got the same icon as my YouTube channel. Come say what's up. If I come back with a bunch of crap, then I'm going to sell it for as cheap as I possibly can so I can buy materials, because I have no handle material left because I've made 13 knives in the past 3 weeks, and I need to go shopping. So anyways, recap. This one will be finished tomorrow. I'll probably post some stuff on it. But yeah, appreciate you guys coming to hang out.